Have you noticed how hard it is these days to make kids sit down with a book? Globally, there is a sharp decline in the reading culture among both secondary and primary school children. My name is Magdalene Victor. Reading is supposed to be a life skill that should be taught to children while they are growing up. But I see that we grew up in a society where children, right from 6 months, are introduced to screen. They sit hours watching screen from morning till evening, and they love watching screen. But when it comes to a little bit of studies, they get bored easily. Yes, I'm not against screen as a person, but what I'm against is that excessive time spent on screen affects a child's reading culture. That's one of the problems that has made children to stay more on screen and to lose interest in reading. Even right now that we are dealing with a lot of youth, we see that a lot of teenagers avoid reading. Reading is a very important life skill that we need to teach our children as parents. So, why does reading matter? Yes, reading helps to strengthen their comprehension. It helps them to comprehend things, and then it sharpens their imagination. It sharpens their thinking and imagination. As they read, they begin to think more deeply, and they begin to imagine from what they are reading. Reading builds their confidence. It builds confidence in kids. Once kids are used to reading, it builds their confidence. And another thing again, once your child is used to reading, you have trained your child to get used to reading, it will also save him sometimes from danger. Because a child that is used to reading can read anything outside. So even when he sees signposts, he sees a signboard, he sees warnings, as he walks on the road, he's able to read it quickly, and it will, to a large extent, save him from danger. So how can parents build the reading culture in their children? How can parents do that? Because parents are the bedrock of the children. So one of the ways that parents can build the reading culture among their children is, one, you have to mirror it yourself. You can't tell your child to do something that you're not doing it, so you have to mirror it yourself. They have to see you reading. They should see you with a book reading, and then you're encouraging them also to do the same. Read books to your children early, even when they have not yet gotten to a stage of comprehending it or understanding it. Read it to them. That will help them to grow to know that reading is part of life. And another thing is that you have to cultivate a routine. Create a routine of reading. And by the time that they are of an age to read by themselves and comprehend, one important thing that you must do is that you sit and listen to them while they read and ask questions, because that helps to build conversation around what they are reading, and then what they are not able to understand, you are able to explain, use those privileges to explain to them. You have to create a routine. So creating a routine helps to build that habit, because they already know that by so time they are supposed to read. So even if it's just a storybook, get a storybook that is appropriate for their age, and let them read and explain to you what they understand. And then time to time also reward their effort, because when you do that, it helps them to become more encouraged. It helps to encourage them when they know that if they do well, mommy and daddy will reward them, mommy and daddy will give them something. So it helps them to do more always. I've had discussions with parents that oh, my children are so used to screen, I don't know how to go about it. Whenever I refuse to play the screen to them, they are always crying, they are always showing tantrum. One thing that I suggested to a woman, and it really worked, is that reduce the timing. So one of the things that you should do is cut down on the time they spend watching the screen. I'm not saying that you should erase it completely, because screens are very important and we can't throw away that usefulness of screen to our kids, because we can't do all. They need the screen to be able to learn a lot of things. So one of the steps to go about it is to reduce the time they spend on the screen. Gradually you are reducing it. Just as I've said earlier, for children 2 years, between 2 and 5 years, the American Pediatric Association recommends only 1 hour of screen per day, and they should be there with a caregiver or their parents supervising what they watch. And it should always be interactive. As they are watching, you are asking them, what do they understand, how are they getting this, and then you are able to build conversation around what they are watching, and that helps them to remember it for a long time. Intentionally create a reading corner and make that reading corner cozy, make it beautiful, arrange it in such a way that kids will fall in love with reading. Build a mini library for them. Get books that are appropriate for their ages. Children are of different ages, and what interests one child may not be exactly what interests another child. So get books that are appropriate for their ages, books that will make them to learn a lot of things. So get those books and make them read those books, and then explain to you what you've read from it. And then one important thing that you should do, in as much as you are encouraged them to read, is that please don't force them to do it, because when you begin to do that, you begin to create a bad memory in them. Don't force them to read, but make them fall naturally in love with reading, because that's the only way you can build your children to love reading, that even when they are growing, they can go and pick book by themselves to read. So don't force them. Never force them. Do not threaten them that when they read, they will do this and they will do. Just give them reasons why they should do that. I know I've seen a lot of parents that threaten their children that you have to read. Before I do this to you, you have to read. And those children do it when they are with their parents, but once they are outside of their parents' jurisdiction, they do whatever they want to do. They don't even read at all. So make sure you explain to your child, in as much as you are encouraging your child to read, make sure you give them reasons why they should do what they are doing. That will help them to fall in love with it naturally. Reading is not an outdated skill, but it's a life skill that will help your children both in the present and in the future. So do not give up, but make sure that you train your children to read, because it depends on you. Your effort will show. So do not give up, but keep on doing the good job that you are doing. For as many of our parents that are doing that, keep doing the good job, and you will see the reward in the nearest future.